Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy from 1972. As yes, we're back once again to talk about another Hitchcock film, and this time around the penultimate film in his career. So very, very kind of big event, no matter what, and just kind of seeing the last few films that he made. Of course, the next one being his very, very last film, Family Plot. So of course, going through the films behind me on the set, kind of the later films, all in order actually. So been doing this as kind of at the same time as kind of going through kind of the other films out of order as I always do, and potentially rewatching different Hitchcock films. I just wanted to kind of at the same time kind of go through the later films that he made in order and see how he kind of went out, I guess, kind of his final films that he left for cinema. So yeah, it's very interesting, of course, it's been, and just seeing Topaz as well. Finally seeing that film, no matter what I thought of it, it was interesting, of course, and just to see what all the fuss was about, kind of thing, and it's a very that's a film that I've talked about already on the channel now, of course, and I wasn't a fan of that personally, but yes, this one I will say now I am a big fan of, and it's great to see this film finally, and yes. Of course, there'll be a spoiler warning for this discussion, so if you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first and then come back to this video, and from there we can discuss this film and different Hitchcock films as well if you want, and just feel free, as always, to leave your thoughts in the comments, and yes, with all that said, let's dig in, and this is a film that is kind of, it's very interesting, of course, but a return to, kind of, well, London, of course, his, yes, being a British film once again after all these years, so very, very unique in that sense, and as he went back to making this kind of British thriller film, and yeah, of course, shot in London, and yeah, it's very interesting, of course, and very nice to see this kind of take, this later Hitchcock film, once again, a British film, so very interesting, of course, and we have John Finch as this protagonist, really, and someone who is essentially set up and kind of framed in a strange way, for this series of murders, of course, and this actual necktie murderer is on the loose, and we learn that early on, of course, and just this kind of gossip, and these kind of market scenes, and we have these different scenes of just busy streets, and these discussions, of course, and what's been happening, these murders that have been taking place, and of course of a necktie, and at first because I didn't really know anything about this film other than it's kind of status just being kind of a great Hitchcock film potentially, certainly it's more kind of loved than his later films, excluding the the Birds, after the Birds, his later films, is overall the most popular one. That's really all I knew about this film, and it starred Clive Swift, who is I know from a show Keeping Appearances, and he was just someone I watched as a kid and stuff. But yeah, so Clive Swift is in this film as well, as Johnny, and we'll get to that. But yes, that's all I knew about the film, really, and I thought, is this character we're seeing at first the one who's losing his job and all this? Is he going to be the murderer? And actually, it turns out it's a very surprising kind of turn of events, and similar to the film, around half an hour or so, we fully learn who it is. But yes, we have this character of Bob, played by Barry Foster, and he's essentially a friend of Richard and or Dickie, or Dick, as he's referred to as, and yeah, just kind of consoling him, and kind of giving him tips and all this kind of stuff, on how to make some money, and yeah, he seems a very caring person, and of course it turns out, as we know, very similar to the film, we learn that he is the murderer. He is the one doing the necktie murders. So really, really shocking, and just bizarre. When I saw it, that was kind of revealed who it was. I was thinking, because the scene was picking up when he approached kind of Richard's ex-wife. And he kind of went in there. Kind of this character Bob went in there, and as we know, kind of confronted her, and it was picking up in the sense of tension. I thought, is this the killer? And it turns out it certainly was, and that scene was shocking, and just to learn that it was that character who appears as this everyday man, of course, and that can happen, of course, as we know. But yes, just to see the kind of what seems to be innocent scenes at first, this likable character at first, Bob, and the way he's kind of interacting with Richard, and just this. I love the charm, first of all, of these scenes, and I think at first, it wasn't, dramatically, kind of great. I didn't think, wasn't, investing to the point, where I was absolutely loving this film, until around 25 or so minutes in, and things, started actually, kind of picking up there, and I was really, after that first, kind of murder as well, especially, I was hooked on the film, and just along for the ride, and kind of rooting for, of course, Richard, who we will say, appears to be very hopeless, the way it kind of starts out. And for the most of the film, we have, Richard being framed, kind of suspected of this, this killing, and, different killings, of course, necktie murders, and, at some points in the film, he's taken captive and, kind of put in an institution, and all this until the very, kind of final scene, really, where he is, the actual killer, of course, Bob, is fully, kind of caught in the act in that sense, and we have the inspector as well. He was a great character, the chief inspector, and I loved even just seeing, his home life, and the cooking scenes there, and just what he was getting, kind of for dinner and stuff. It's hilarious, of course, and that's what I love about this film. That Topaz really lacked was, the comedy, the charm, and just the kind of the grounded nature of that, and how, the comedy is, making the characters more likeable and realistic, and it wasn't, kind of stagey like Topaz as well. That was just, it really didn't work for me. But this one is once again a return to form, and the realism and the charm, just the fantastical nature once again of, the kind of the actual characters as well, and this whole kind of world that's created, and just seeing though, Richard, he is a very likable at times character. Other times, he's kind of, he's quite aggressive, and kind of doing things that I was kind of surprised by. But nevertheless, he is essentially wrongly, kind of accused of this series of murders, and for the rest of the film, it's just behind, kind of getting, Bob caught, and how, finally our protagonist will eventually, hopefully, be, kind of in the clear, and many occasions where I thought this wasn't going to happen, and I thought Bob would triumph, and the final act, I wasn't actually thinking that Richard would make it, and it's a very touch and go film in that sense, full of tension, full of great, kind of visual moments as well, as just great scenes of dialogue, and tension, through the interactions, and not just the visuals, but this film really has it all, after that first act, really, and I think once it picks up, it never lets up, and we have so many moments of sustained tension, and just I loved these characters. We have Babs as well, who is the kind of love interest of Richard, of course, and she is one of the only characters who actually believe him, and at some point, and it does take persuading, of course, because it does seem like obviously that's the great thing about the film, the way in which it kind of shows Richard, and kind of establishing effectively a motive, and suspicion there for him, and to actually, go and commit this murder, of course, of, for example, the ex-wife in the film, and just it does take some persuading, and for Babs to actually finally come around to believe him, but the way the film kind of sets that up is great, and I think just the scenes that kind of start escalating in tension and conflict there, it's very well done, and the actual first killing on the screen, mostly it was just flawless the way it was done. There was a couple of moments where it wasn't as realistic as I thought it would have been, but yes, just overall a great scene, and I think very shocking, and just I think this film, to describe it, can be grubby, very grubby, and gritty, and grimy, those kind of words, kinds of words, and just to kind of see this film, a 70s Hitchcock, it's very fascinating, of course, and it's a very violent film, and you could say in some regards his most violent film, although you could argue as well in different, what is violence, how is a Hitchcock film, determined to be, the most violent one, it could be The Birds, it could be Psycho, etc. But this is very much up there with those films in terms of how kind of disturbing it is, and I think just to kind of see this character, this killer as well, Bob, how he kind of goes around and kind of seems to be to most people, kind of a normal guy, in that sense, and as we go through the film though, and his interactions even just with the public, continue. There was some things underlying, through this performance that he brought out, I think, and just seeing, Barry Foster, play this character to perfection, really. I think his performance was stunning, and I think there's some moments where we get this kind of underlying, perhaps, element of, psychotic nature, and it's a very disturbing film, and I love as well the scene with Barry Foster where at night time he has the body, of course, one of the bodies hidden, and outside in a truck, and then he he goes back for a a moment, kind of goes back and he tries to take the ring off there, and kind of tries to remove that item, and that is a great scene as well, and how he struggles to get that off, and he ends up kind of cutting off part of the body there, and that is just gross, and it's one of the key moments really of an item or an object, a key kind of piece. There's kind of many cases of this in a Hitchcock film. Just seeing this, it's one of those moments. Has that kind of feeling, that callback to past Hitchcock films, where we have this focus on one particular element, and a character trying to reveal or conceal this, of course, and it's great to see this, and it goes on for quite a while, and the tension there is unbelievable. Of course, someone getting in, and then kind of driving that kind of van there, and eventually it leads to the body falling out, of course, and just it leads, of course, to different moments where that body is discovered, of course, by the law, and it's just adding yet another kind of element to the film of tension, and just on edge feeling. I wasn't wanting kind of Bob to make it out, but naturally when you kind of put in this perspective with him in the van and stuff, you yourself feel that kind of the uneasy feeling, the kind of the fear, and I guess just kind of the fear of being caught, whether or not you want the actual character to be caught, for protagonist to be cleared. That's another story. But just that intense experience, of those moments. This film really is, so stunning, of course, and the way it's shot, it's very, very natural at times, and we have many moments where it's classic Hitchcock, the way he kind of moves the camera. We have that moment when kind of coming out of the room and just slowly going down the stairs there, and that camera work, out of the building. And the camera work there is stunning, and it's uninterrupted. Kind of shot really there. Slowly coming back, and just it really that can be looked at, and it means quite a lot. Just that movement there. That entire sequence visually, and just moments like this, where we feel Hitchcock really has put in the effort here, to kind of create this visual experience, and to actually be in tune with the characters, and what's going on in the narrative, and to create different feelings, of course, and again, something that I felt was lacking in even Torn Curtain, at times, was that kind of the visual, mastery, from Hitchcock, and the way he kind of uses the camera, and just to create an effect, and a connection between different points, different characters, different suggestions, of course, within the narrative, and surroundings, and I think this film once again is a return to that, and just immersing me, personally, in this film through the visuals. The score is very effective as well, and just the location, the sense of location here, and the way Hitchcock is capturing this and kind of using this to his advantage. This kind of in the midst of all this, these busy streets, in London, of course, there is this seemingly normal man, kind of on the store, on the markets, and just selling fruit, and he is this sadistic killer, and he doesn't care. That Richard, his friend, was kind of caught in this, and at one point in the film, as we know, he actually kind of alerts the authorities, and kind of sets him up to be actually caught. So there we have it, of course, and it's just all the more satisfying, in that final kind of scene where we have the chief inspector, Richard, and of course Bob in that scene, in the apartment there, and of course the realization there. So in the end, Richard will be cleared. However, it's one of those films where he's been through so much, this kind of disturbing, traumatic experience. Will he ever kind of recover from this? Well, that is, of course, left to you to decide, you know, I guess. And it's certainly a film where, you know, the character, even though, you know, in the end it is cleared, you know, it's certainly, you know, injustice here. And I think I love the way in which Hitchcock, you know, kind of plays this out. You know, it's a very funny, charming film. You know, very different moments where, you know, it's very, you know, tongue-in-cheek at times, but it is a very disturbing film as well. And just the most disturbing aspect is, you know, that villain. We have Bob, and you know, I think really such a memorable villain. We'll never kind of forget the face, you know, just that villain there, and of course, you know, a famous actor, of course, but you know, just in this film, you know, that specific kind of character, those facial, you know, kind of moments, you know, the kind of remarks, and just the disturbing moments, you know, when you just see his face and he's, you know, about to kill someone, you know, it really is unforgettable, this film. And you know, I think the editing, once again, is wonderful. You know, the flow of this film, you know, is quite stunning. You know, the first 25 minutes, as I've said, 20-25 minutes, it's not, you know, as good as you know, it could have been. I think it's just for my liking. It could have been a bit more investing. You know, something to really straight away, you know, get me into the film experience and you know, this narrative, and be, you know, kind of rooting for this you know, set of characters. But you know, it's very interesting. We have you know, Richard kind of losing his job, and it seems to be all going wrong for him. And you know, he's not a character though who is you know, fully sympathetic, because he is, you know, quite, you know, kind of aggressive and stuff to different characters, and you know, kind of, you know, it's just, it's not, you know, I guess your typical charming protagonist at all. No, but it's a very unique one, and well, one that eventually I was, you know, kind of behind and rooting for. And I think the performance by John Finch certainly is a very unique one, and overall a great performance, yes, by this actor, and you know, just a very different protagonist. You know, one that is kind of you know, it appears to be very hopeless at first for him, but again, as I say, it's very interesting. It's not, you know, a fully sympathetic one. You know, it's not a character who we're kind of you know, everything is going wrong for, at least from my perspective, everything is going wrong for this character, and you know, instantly I'm kind of thinking, oh, what a shame, kind of thing, because you know, he was quite, you know, aggressive and just at times unlikable, but you know, that's the great thing. You know, it's a very complex you know, character here, and I think it kind of shifts its gears, you know, this film at one point, and then, you know, it clicks, and I think, okay, that's what we're going for. You know, this is how I'm rooting for this, you know, kind of character, and how I want things to kind of turn out. And you know, Hitchcock kind of geniusly keeps that going throughout most of the film until the very final moments where we have that kind of you know, that release, as Hitchcock you know, masterfully done throughout his career. You know, tension, and you know, just all these things going wrong for this this character. Finally, you know, in those final moments there, you know, it's kind of released, and we feel this kind of this emotion, and you know, this relief, of course. And yes, you know, he's kind of in the clear in a sense. And just this chief inspector, as I say, you know, that we've kind of mentioned briefly, you know, he is so great in this film, a key element, you know, of this experience, and making it kind of even more charming, I feel, and you know, kind of relatable in that sense. You know, we have his perspective at times, you know, in different scenes dedicated just to him. You know, and Alec McCowen, you know, plays this character so well. You know, a great performance, and you know, truly a likable character. And you know, just we have the scenes early on, even just dedicated to him. You know, kind of, you know, Michael Bates, you know, in this film as well. It's great to see him, you know, kind of playing this other character. You know, they're kind of talking there, and you know, just Michael Bates, you know, his character's watching. You know, the inspector, chief inspector, of course, and you know, he's just eating this kind of full English breakfast, and you know, just the kind of bizarre nature of that. You know, he kind of says, you know, he doesn't really get much, you know, kind of good food at home. So yes, you know, kind of he needs to stock up when he can, and you know, we get linking back to that. You know, at different points in the film, we have multiple scenes, you know, dedicated to him. You know, at his house, you know, kind of being you know, served dinner, and you know, just. Yeah, really, it looks like awful food, and you know, he doesn't say anything though. You know, he keeps eating it, and you know, even though he is, you know, disgusted by the food, and you know, just I love, you know, that kind of bizarre, you know, kind of relatable aspect of the film, and you know, that character, the chief inspector, and you know, how we have those scenes dedicated to him. You know, just seeing that, you know, it's really hilarious moments, and you know, it's just moments of kind of you know, that were not. I guess they were a break from you know, the kind of disturbing nature of the rest of the film, and kind of not really ones that too much related to the murders, what was going on with the protagonist, but just seeing this character and some comedy scenes here, I think it was key to making this film even more enjoyable. And I think then getting behind this inspector as well, and just enjoying him, and then when he is more central to the actual plot in different scenes, it's very much more rewarding to see that, and to see him interacting with different characters, and in the end, him being in that final scene. So yeah, I just love this film. As I say, the characters, the way this film's shot, the atmosphere to this. It's very minimalist at times, and just kind of relying on basic simplicity of camera movements and just editing and performances. It really is, and just things have happened, and the aftermath of that, and how characters are dealing with different events, trying to hide things, and trying to reveal things as well. It's a really kind of complex film. This different kind of things working in harmony and against each other as well. So very fascinating to see how Hitchcock handles this, and let's just say he directs this wonderfully, and the way in which all these different elements are balanced, really is such a kind of admirable film, this, and I think just being his penultimate film, it's truly a worthy film. Just to kind of to see kind of a later Hitchcock film, truly is worthy, and one I definitely absolutely call great. And it's just great to see this after Marnie. I was, as I say, I did I was thinking at first, the first act, I loved, the first half, but overall, was it a great film? Well, we'll get to that. Of course, I need to rewatch that film, and certainly, Torn Curtain for me was not, although I kind of liked the film, and Topaz was certainly a disappointment. So, seeing Frenzy after these films, really is great, and, it's just a return to form, and, just, really pleased that, Hitchcock made this, kind of, he came back with this film in a sense, and just I look forward to family plots, but I think Frenzy is a very special film, and one that really stands out from what I've seen of the later films that Hitchcock made, and just this real kind of cold thriller at times, although very warm. I loved Clive Swift, this kind of friend of Richard's, Johnny, of course, and he kind of offers him this respite, but we have this other character who she's kind of quite hostile to Richard, and doesn't want him to be there, and she kind of doesn't kind of believe him at all. And then kind of unfortunately Clive Swift's character kind of falls into this as well, and kind of there's a change of kind of heart there, and but just seeing at first the kind of the charming interactions between Clive Swift and John Finch, that was great, and to see Clive Swift in this film was so great. For me, as I say, I watched Keeping Up Appearances, the whole show when I was younger, multiple times, and I really loved this actor of Clive Swift. I thought it was great, and to see him in a Hitchcock film, it's just so pleasing, and a really great underrated actor, and seeing him adds that element of charm once again to the film, and just all these different side characters that kind of all involved in this film in some way. Really, once again, as I say, a return to a classic kind of Hitchcock film where so much is at stake, and it's so many different characters, even side characters passing by. Characters really are involved in this overall experience in some way, and directly, many of them involved in the narrative, and how these interactions are dealt with. It's so pleasing, and once again, just such a charming film. This, although a very disturbing, dark, macabre film, and just being set in London, it's priceless. Really, for this film, it's great. It's kind of commenting as well on some points in the film early on, different murders that are actually real life occurrences. Jack the Ripper and all this. So kind of comparisons can be made, in the back of your mind, and you can kind of, this is similar kind of stuff, that's happening with this killer in the film, the necktie murderer. This kind of signature thing, if you like, and just this element of it, just this psychotic, just macabre, kind of series of events, and just once again this Hitchcock film that is truly Hitchcockian. It really is a return to form, and was so great to see this. I loved it so much, and after that first kind of 20-25 minutes, I was flat out, loving every single moment really of this film, and for that reason, it's going to get a very, very high score from me. So yes, overall for me, this film truly is a great one, and my final rating for Frenzy, the penultimate Hitchcock film, is a 97%. Yeah, extremely, extremely high, and much higher than my last few Hitchcocks I've been watching. Of these this later portion of his career. But yes, Frenzy truly is a great one, and it's just it's kind of looking at the ranking earlier, for it's really not high at all, but that's because there's so many stunning Hitchcock films. He truly was a genius, and for this to not be in the kind of top 15, from what I've seen already, that's not even half of his films. Truly says it all really, and yeah, just a true master, and one of my absolute 5 favourite filmmakers easily, and I think this film truly does live up to its kind of reputation as being this dark, kind of cold, thriller, and one that's truly involving, and I personally at least feel that, and I think it's a real return to form, and one I do kind of I have put on my favourites list somewhere, and yeah, just I do love this film, and yeah, highly recommend seeing it, and yeah, just I cannot wait to see it again, knowing who the killer is and all this, and just to return to this this peaceful beginnings, of course, and at the same time this truly disturbing kind of full on kind of narrative, and this truly stunning thriller. It's so intense. It's charming, it's comedic, and likable, and just shocking, brutal, and there's just the brutality of this film. Wow, this is kind of hard hitting. It's kind of where Tom Curtin was kind of I think attempting for these to kind of go for these brutal occurrences. It didn't quite live up to that. It didn't quite follow through despite the setup in different moments. But this film really does set it up and deliver in the actual occurrences. This actual brutality is truly felt. It's a visceral film, and it's just an elegant film as well in the way it's shot and kind of edited. So yes, I cannot say more positive things really about this film. I absolutely loved it, and certainly once again another great Hitchcock film. The Hitchcock cameo in this film as well. It's really great to see, and it's around 3 minutes into the film roughly, I think, actually, and yeah, it was really nice as well. And I forgot to mention that in the Topaz review. That was a highlight of Topaz actually. That cameo was really great, hilarious. But yes, I think one day I'll do kind of maybe not ranking, but just kind of a top whatever, kind of 10 or so favourite, or discussion on my favourite, kind of Hitchcock cameos, his films, and because there were so many, of course, and it's a signature kind of stamp he puts on his films, and yeah, really makes his work even more kind of unique, and just kind of comedic, his kind of involvement in that, and yeah, I just think. Once again, this is a really nice one to see, and yeah, once again, a film that I loved. But yes, tell me your thoughts, of course, on this film. It'd be great to hear. Fascinating. It would be to hear, your comments on this film, and how you kind of, went through this film, and how you felt about different things. Of course, this roller coaster ride of emotions, and yeah, just a really unique film, and one that I truly loved. I was blown away by this film once again. Another stunning Hitchcock film, and yeah, it may not be a flawless masterwork, but it really is a stunning film, and I don't really care that it doesn't have that kind of great for me first kind of 25 minutes or so, because once it gets going, I loved the entire rest of the film, flat out loved, and had no problems with it at all really, and yeah, it's just overall as an experience, this was unforgettable, and I truly love this film, and yeah, 97%, just it's just what I hoped for really, this film, and it lived up to the kind of the hype in that sense, and I think actually it's underrated in a way, underappreciated, whatever you want to say, not that it really matters, what other people think of a film, it's nothing to do with what you think of a film, and just watch a film and see what you think, come up with your own opinion. Of course, always important, in cinema, that's the one rule really, you get your own experience and draw from it your own kind of life of film in a that sense. But yeah, in the sense of, if you want to say that, it's kind of, looking at it, it's kind of surprising this film isn't, yeah, it talks about more actually, and kind of, yeah, more acclaimed overall actually, and loved. But yeah, it's just my slight remark and observation there. But yeah, overall, I love this film personally, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts on this film. And next up will be, in a series of order here, will be Family Plot. Once again on the set behind me, that I really recommend. 14 films on that set, just one of my prized possessions, really. But yes, once again, going through the set, and the final film will be watched next. And yeah, it would be very sad to see that, I guess. And I'm 25 now, and most of my life I've been watching different Hitchcock films from a very young age, and only just about to see the very final film from Hitchcock, and I've still got more than half of his films to see though, for the first time. So yeah, it hasn't ended yet, and it never will end. Rewatching his films over and over, of course. But yes, it's going to be very interesting and very sad. It will be to see that film regardless. But yeah, look forward to that, and I look forward to yeah, potentially talking to reviewers as well on that film. So yes, that's it for now. It's been great to discuss this film, and really it was a great experience for me. So yes, Frenzy. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.